let's take a look at some considerations that go into naming your brand and product. So by this point, you should have one product you've chosen that you're ready to run with. So here's some tips and suggestions to help you choose a brand name and a product name for your new product. So the first thing we're going to look at is choosing a brand name. And I'd like to mention right off the bat here is don't try and be perfect. You can actually change your brand name at any time. Now, obviously, if you get your brand name printed on labels or on your products, you can't change that until you order a new batch of products. But way too many people spend way too much time trying to come up with the absolutely perfect brand name, but it's really not that big of a deal. Your results are going to come a lot more from the marketing you do outside of picking your brand name, such as targeting keywords and all the other great stuff we're going to teach you. So next, you really want to try and pick something that fits your market. Now, this might seem kind of obvious, but you don't want something totally unrelated to your market. Look at what other products currently have and pick something that's going to resonate really well with your audience. Now, ideally, you want to pick something that has the domain name available. So once you have some ideas for a brand name, you might want to go over to a site like GoDaddy.com and check out if that name is available. Now, you don't by any means need to go and buy the domain right now. You can if you want to, and I usually recommend that people do for the $9 or $10 it'll cost you just to secure it, but it's absolutely not 100% necessary. If that domain name for whatever brand name you're thinking of choosing is not available, you might not want to go with it, because down the road, we really want to be able to expand our brand and you want to have a web presence. However, that is your choice. Plus, you really want something that is relatively unique and hasn't been used before. Next, I suggest doing an Amazon search and a trademark search for that name. Now, for the Amazon search, you can just type your brand name into the Amazon search bar just to see if anybody's already taking it. For the trademark search, you can just follow the link below this video. Now, it's always a good idea to do a trademark search if you're going to be selling in the United States. Okay, so now looking at choosing a product name. Now, your product name is something that's going to show up on your product label or packaging, and this is the main place that people are going to see it. Now, it's important to note that it's not necessary to have it in your Amazon listing title if you don't want it to be there. And we'll talk a little bit more about that in later lessons when we talk about building your Amazon listing. But you as a brand new brand, nobody is going to be looking for your brand name or your product name in particular if you have a unique product name. So it's not a really vital component of your listing in the beginning. And again, it's just one more reason why you don't have to be perfect with this naming process when you're just getting started. All that will be refined as we refine your brand and we build out your packaging. In later lessons, you're going to see how all that gets put together. So next, you want to pick something relatively simple that resonates with your audience. Something that they would expect. You don't want them to try and guess what your product is going to be. Next, it is ideal if you can include a main keyword or keywords into the product name. Now, very often it might end up just being one word, but in some cases, depending on your product, it might be multiple words. Now, this is going to help you rank your product on Amazon, and it's absolutely not a necessity, but it's ideal because your audience is already searching for that keyword. And once again, and I can't stress it enough, and so many people get so stressed out about this and so worried and spend so much time fussing, don't try to be perfect. You know, we're just getting started. This is a work in progress. And just as with a brand name, you don't have to have the world's greatest product name. If you pick one and you end up not liking it or you can't use it for whatever reason, you'll be able to change it on your Amazon listing pretty much whenever you want.